this is Carrie with Canary Quilts, and this is the second installment of our Roadside Harvest Quilt Along. This is a quilt done by Canary Quilts, Corey Yoder, and a lot of people have the quilt kit and the pattern, like me. I just have the pattern, but my friend Corey introduced this pattern to me, and she has the kit. And we decided to start this. So I wanted to share with you too and have you quilt along if you have the kit or the pattern, and we can get this done. Get it off our desk, right? So this week we're doing the pumpkins. Last week we did the leaves, which I have 4 of them here, but there's 48 of them. And they do take a while to do. So that's why I started with them, so that we'd have time over the course of this quilt along that you could pick them back up and work on them. I did those over the course of a couple weeks, just picking them up and doing them. So they do take a while. But you'll find that our pumpkins are going to give you a break. They aren't too hard to put together. There's only 21 of them. Here's all my pumpkins over here. And I used Sew Sampler fabrics from last August. It was a layer cake for my pumpkins. And I just used some of the jelly roll leftovers from the leaves to do my stems. So I'm going to walk you through how I did one of these. And then I'm going to walk you through and give you a little story about why I do chain piecing. I'm back, my kitty was crying. Anyway, I'm going to walk you through a little story about why I do chain piecing and how many of these I do at one time, and show you kind of how I do, and show you how I do my flip and stitch corners or snowball corners, wherever you want to call them. I don't mark my corners. There's 84 of these little corners, and I don't want to mark that many, so I show you how I do that. And we get it done pretty quickly. So I'm already done. I did it in a couple hours. So you do get a break this week with this, so if you're behind on the leaves, which it does take a while, you got some time to catch up before we get to the trucks. We're doing the trucks in a couple weeks, and then the last week we're going to put the whole thing together. So if you want to watch me put this together, if you're doing it with me, or you have the pattern and you want to get started with us, hit the subscribe button, notification bell. You'll get notified of this and new content that I put out. I want to show off a few things I got done here. I got the Fat Quarter Shop Haunted Halloween put together, and that turned out really cute. I love how my Gasleys turned out inside this haunted house, castle, whatever you want to call it. Like, this guy's peeking out the window. She's meeting you at the door. Turned out super cute. This is a free pattern at Fat Quarter Shop. I do have a link down below if you want to get started on this. You can grab that pattern. And what else do I got? Here's all my pumpkins. Here's my leaves. This is the 2022 Designer Mystery Block of the Month, or 2023 Mystery Block of the Month, Designer Mystery Block of the Month at Fat Quarter Shop. Oh, my door was open because I had to go get my cat. Birds of a Feather. We're doing Birds of a Feather on this channel that I'm putting out a pattern each month, which is a bird-themed block with bird-themed colors. You can check that out. I have a link down below. So anyway, lots of fun stuff going on here. That's just a few of the things. And we have a Halloween quilt along coming up in July. So check it out. Subscribe. It's going to be fun. Anyway, let's get started with our pumpkins. All right, I'm all set up for week 2 of Roadside Harvest, which is a quilt by Canary Quilts, designed by Corey Yoder. And we are doing the pumpkins this week, so it's much easier than last week. Last week we had 48, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, we had 48 leaves to do. So I'm glad I started with the leaves because they do take a long time, so if you still are working on them, this will kind of give you a break. This won't take very long to do. We have 21 of these. And I did one of these in about 5 minutes, so it really won't take very long to do. I want to kind of go through what we have here to put together this week. I showed you all my fabrics in the first week, and these are my pumpkin fabrics right here, and you can see that I was using a layer cake, and I still have quite a bit of my layer cake left and a couple of fat ace that I threw in there. So here's our A piece, which is our pumpkin base. Our B piece is our stem, And then all our background pieces. C's are the corner. D's are background up here. And then E's, I'm not going to do E's today, but see this blank space in between the pumpkins? That's what E is. I'm just going to make the pumpkins today. I'm going to save E for one of the last weeks here when we put everything together. So we did leaves, we're now doing pumpkins, then we're going to do our trucks, and then we'll put the quilt together. So just pumpkins today. Won't take very long, which is good because you probably still have some leaves to do because they really did take a long time to do. So the pumpkin is put together with, I call them snowball corners. I think they're also called stitch and flip corners. They're really pretty easy. So I'm going to show you one, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to do multiple at one time. So you need, let's start with our A pumpkin piece, and then our C squares. I'm not drawing lines. What I'm doing is I put a piece of tape over here. I showed this to you in the last video. I put a piece of tape where my needle runs so that when I put it in, I'm going to put my needle right here, and then this corner will get lined up with the edge of my tape, so then I can just follow this corner right up the tape. You want to get all 4 of your C pieces lined up in your corners, and then we're going to sew. So we chop off this corner. So sew from this point to this point. And if it helps you to mark these, then go right ahead. I don't want to mark 84 of these. So I'll show you real quick how I'm using the tape in case you didn't see the first video, and then that's how I'm doing it. I'm not marking mine. So I just used a ruler and lined it up with my needle and put it down under my foot to hold it in place, and then just put that piece of tape down next to the ruler. And you can see that I put the needle down at the top where the corner is, and then I'm looking down at the bottom corner and having it run against the tape. All right, there's all my seams so that we're going to be chopping off these corners, and then from here you want to put a 1/4 inch line from your ruler on your seam and trim. So if you've done any kind of quilting, you have run into this, I am sure, with flying geese, or like I said, these types of corners. They all kind of have different names, so however you've heard those names, stitch and flip, snowball, it works. So we're going to iron all of these towards the corner. All right, there's our pumpkin base. Now we want to take a B, and I went through and cut different colors. It's fine. It's absolutely going to be beautiful. So there's my B. And then we want to take our D. We need 2 of these. So we're going to sew these at a 1/4 inch, and then we're going to iron towards this middle piece here, the middle stem piece. All right, there's our stem and background. Iron towards the stem. Now all we have to do is pick one of the longer sides of our pumpkin that matches the length of this. Pretty easy. And we're going to sew this at a 1/4 inch, and we're going to iron towards our stem and background piece. Our cute little pumpkin. So I have 2 made really quickly. So what I am going to do at this point, tell you a little story about my dad. My dad raised us on the X-1, where he always said things are finite, especially buttons, because as a kid, you're always playing with buttons, you're pushing things. And I remember we got a car that had, our first car that had the buttons where it would put the window up and down. It was so exciting. We'd be playing with that button. My dad would be screaming, X-1, X-1, because he's saying the button only has so much life, and you're using the life up every time you play with that button. So I raised my kids that way too, with X-1. Just be careful of how many times you do things, because there's finite. It's finite. And I feel that way with my machine and my cutter. It's finite. That cutter is only going to work for so long, so if I do it one at a time, I'm just pushing that cutter all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 6 at a time here, and the reason I chose 6 is just because these are pretty big, and as I go through I'm going to have a lot of material. So 6 at a time. I'm going to add all of these. I'm going to chain piece one corner, then pull it out, chain piece another corner, and just keep doing it that way so that I'm not pushing my cutter button all the time. I can also start these at the same time. It's up to you how you want to do it, but that's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to start here. I'm going to put it on the corner. I'm going to go to my machine and I'm going to sew my first corner. And I'm going to grab another one, put that through the machine, sew that corner. Look at that pretty mint green. I'm going to have a mint green pumpkin. There's my chain pieces. I can just cut those. So I might be able to do more than 6. After I get these done, I'll assess the situation. So now we're just taking another piece, chain piecing it to the other side, and we'll do this for all 4 corners. So I'm going to get these done, and then then I'm able to cut them all at one time and iron them all at one time. So I'm kind of like not running from one spot to another. All right, there's the 6 I just did, all 4 corners, done at once. So now I'm going to be able to cut all 4 corners on all 6 of these, and then I'm going to go iron all 4 corners. So it makes it a pretty streamlined way to do this. All right, here's my 6 pumpkin bases here. That turned out really well doing it 6 at a time, so I think I'm going to stick with that. This didn't take me very long at all, maybe 15-20 minutes or something like that. I'm going to do my stems at the end. I thought maybe I'd do them now, but I'm going to do them at the end. I'm going to finish these. I've got 6 in this pile and I've got 7 left, so that's how it's going. And then I'll have these done, and then we can get our stems done and put it all together. All right, here's my pumpkins done, and that really did not take very long. I'd say to finish these, what is there, 13 of them? There was 13 here. That maybe took 30 minutes, maybe an hour. I took a lunch break in between, so I just kind of broke it up. But these are done, and now it's time for the stem. I'm going to just chain piece these all at once. So I'm going to do all of this side, sew iron, and then add this side and sew and iron. So then we're adding them on. So you've got plenty of time to finish those leaves we started in the first week. All right, it only took me about, 15 minutes to do these. Didn't take very long. So now we're ready to add them to our pumpkins, and we are going to be done. Like I said, I'm not going to put all my pumpkins together until the last week, the finishing week. And if you're wondering what the schedule is, I have a link to my website down below, and you can go see the schedule that I put up for this little quilt along. So I'm going to go ahead and put these together, and we'll come back and show you all my pretty pumpkins. All right, finished up my pumpkins. Took total, with a little lunch break in between, maybe about 2.5 hours. So, I mean, you don't have to do them all at one time, but it really didn't take very long. I didn't mention that if you have a directional fabric, make sure that your stem goes on the right side. But I only had a couple directional fabrics, but they turned out really cute. I think I'm really gonna like this. Like I told you last time, this is Sew Sampler layer cake that I used from last August, I think. But yeah, so we've got leaves and pumpkins now, and I know these take a long time. They really do. That's why I started with them. I figured they would take a long time, so, you know, we did these 2 weeks ago. These don't take very long at all, so there's 2 weeks more you can work on these, and then we're doing the trucks in a couple weeks. So At that point, you'll still have more time before we get to finishing to work on these leaves. But it's going to be so cute. I'm looking forward to it. But here's my pumpkins. I had a lot of fun doing this. And I had a lot of fun making this video. I've got my fabrics linked down below. I've got my website linked down below if you want to check the schedule out. And also you can sign up for our newsletter and get notified of all when we're doing this and all the other fun stuff. Also hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and you'll get notified with all the fun stuff we got going on here and every time we put new content out. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!